Okay, welcome back. Last time we kind of had a miscellaneous episode where I didn't really do a whole lot. The main goal of the last episode was to get Monzaemon to learn Megalo Spark, which I did eventually do. And in between episodes, I decided because I know I've done basically everything else in this series on screen, but I basically didn't want to have to fill in, another 5 in-game days or something. I think it was 5 in-game days. Roughly thereabouts. Actually, hang on, wait, I never went and talked to Digimon, and it's been in-game week since. So first things first, can I go and get food for Digimon today? I cannot. Okay. I think I also bought a couple of super carrots and a couple of hawk radishes in between episodes. But let's quickly go and talk to Monzaemon. Should have some stuff. We got some treasure. Okay, we got an Omni floppy. That's not amazing, although I'm also kind of currently running low on money. I'm running low on money because I've already stocked up on all of the items that I'm going to need. I think. So pretty much, now I begin what should be, the final cycle. And I'm pretty confident that on this cycle, I'll be able to finish off Mount Infinity and get everything done in the post-game, and that should be enough to bring me to 100% completion. Okay, technically not 100% completion. I'm not going to fill out the entire chart, and I'm not going to pick up every single card. I might try to get every card, but I'm definitely not going to manage to get every single Digimon in the game. That would require a lot more effort than that would require a lot more effort than I would quite like to put into Digimon World, and also, it would just be dozens and dozens of loot. Like, it would be a lot of just cycles of me kind of just running to and from the Greed Gym. Like, imagine the boring part of this series where I've just been, grinding for stats. Imagine, take that, and then multiply it by a degree of magnitude. And that is basically what you would end up with. So I'm going to avoid doing that, because obviously that wouldn't exactly be ideal. Okay, so first things first, I know what I'm aiming for I know which Digimon I'm aiming for, and because I have a whole bunch of the stat chips, I'm going to use those once I get to a champion level. Because pretty much I'd rather put those onto the Digimon once it's already at a certain point, and as opposed to kind of just maybe kind of messing up my current plan. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know how it would all play out. I don't know what kind of result I would get if I just threw everything on this as a baby Digimon. Honestly, I think that could be kind of funny to see. So I think that could actually be a fun one to see. Although, to be fair, I did save state when Monzaemon faded away, which is why this episode started at a little bit of a weird time. So I could, in theory, do that and just kind of see what happens with it. But I know what my current goal is, and I will just, for now, I'm gonna try to leave you all in suspense. But for now, I need offense, brains, and speed. Stuff like that. No, defense. Defense is the thing I'm currently working on. Offense is one I need to punch the tree for. You know, because sometimes you have to punch the tree and catch all the leaves that fall. I say that, I haven't actually sat and watched Hajime no Ippo, but I know that that's, like, a thing. I think it happens only probably I know it's, like, right at the start. I think I did watch the first couple of episodes of Ippo. Oh, so, honestly, I should probably watch it, because I've heard it's genuinely fantastic. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to focus on my defense and my other stuff, and after that will be when I start to really kind of, go for everything. After that, I'm going to kind of aim for the big picture, And then once we hit champion form, I think that should be when we are good to go. Okay, I'm going to go until I hit 100 defense, and then I'll start working on our speed. And hopefully that should be enough. And if I don't get the Digimon I'm currently aiming for, then I might be in a little bit of a quandary, but you know what? I will find a way. I mean, realistically, I probably have enough of the stat chips that regardless of what I end up getting, I can probably shenanigans my way through to get an ultimate level Digimon. Because realistically, I have enough chips to give probably like 500, like close to 500 offense, probably like 400 defense. And I think I have enough chips to give like 4,500 health. So, I feel pretty okay with my odds about actually getting stuff to, you know, level up and be totally okay. Now then, I'm also going to use a Hawk Radish, because a Hawk Radish will greatly benefit me while training up. I also probably should have used this for when I was doing my training on defense, but yeah, I kind of forgot. Wait, did I not buy Super Carrots? I could have sworn I bought a Super Carrot or two. Oh well, I can always just go and buy one if I need to. I say that, I did use most of the money. I did use most of the money that I currently have. Sorry, most of the money that I had from kind of trading in all those special defense discs. But I feel pretty confident in saying that I feel very confident in saying that once I get a Digimon, honestly, even if I just had a champion level, even with just a champion level, I feel like I would probably be able to take on Mount Infinity now. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm relatively confident that I would be able to handle it. Although I'm going to quickly run back to where the bathroom is before I let Tokomon go to sleep. Honestly, I will say one thing that I wish this game did is Giromon, when Giromon comes to the city, he adds a jukebox. I kind of wish that I could just have the jukebox in the gym, so I could listen to the music, I could kind of just, like, listen to whatever music I would want to. But, nope, that is not an option here. I say that, but also at the same time, now, the following statement is probably going to be a weird connection, but I have the jukebox on my farm in Stardew Valley that, I say that, I don't think I've checked in on in like 8 months, but it's not like Animal Crossing, it doesn't require you to log in every day. Anyway, I have a jukebox on my farm in Stardew, and I want it to be outside, but I feel weird having it outside. It's like, if it rains, it's just gonna get covered in rain, and that's probably not good for a jukebox, you know? Anyway, fun. Really, Tokomon, I mean, I can't complain. It is basically a baby. I know I shouldn't complain. It's basically a baby. So I think my current plan is to get the Digimon that I'm aiming to get, and then I'm gonna probably buy 1 or 2 porta potties just for when I go up Mount Infinity, because I don't know how long that'll take. I don't know how long it'll take, and I'd rather just have a kind of contingency plan, you know. I'd rather not, you know, leave a mess on the mountain. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, from what I do remember of Mount Infinity, I wouldn't really call it a mountain per se, but anyway. So now let's keep grinding up these stats. Okay, so, off we go. Speed is going to be a very important stat for me right now. Oh, and hopefully okay, another bathroom break. To be fair, you know, Tokomon is basically an infant, so, you know, it's not exactly going to be on top of everything, you know? So hopefully this shouldn't take... Okay, I don't actually know how, Digivolution to Ultimates works. I don't know if it requires a certain time, Like, I don't know if it requires a certain time, or if it's just like, hey, you hit the stat check for it. Like, I don't know if you need to reach a certain... I don't know if it's... You have to spend a certain amount of time as a champion level Digimon to acquire it, or if it's, like, specific, or if it's just like, hey, a great job, you can immediately do this. It's because you hit the... How do I phrase this? I don't know if it's time-based, like the other evolutions, and it's like, okay, if you've reached this and you've kind of reached a certain amount of time, or if you just hit the requirement and it's like, okay, cool, now you immediately just Digivolve. Because I think Greymon immediately Digivolved to Metal Greymon once I reached the requirements for it. But I don't actually know. This game has a whole bunch of mechanics on top of mechanics on top of mechanics that I just don't actually know how they all work. To be fair, that's probably because this game is... Honestly, this game is a mystery to me. Like, obviously, I've played this game a lot in my life. Like, I've played this game an awful lot in my life, and so much of it is still an absolute mystery to me. Like, I genuinely don't think I will ever fully understand this game. I'm sure that there's probably a whole bunch of guides that, like, fully break down everything and explain it all. Oh, okay, Tokomon is going to evolve. So, I know that Tokomon can become either Patamon or Biomon, so let's find out what we're about to get. Okay, so we get a Patamon. That is not what I was aiming for, to be totally honest. So this, I'm gonna have to work around this a little bit more, but I think I know how to kind of path. I think I know how I can like kind of path the evolution here. But this is not what I was aiming for. I was aiming for Biomon, so I would be able to get Birdramon back. Ah, okay, Patamon is very cute though. I do like Patamon. Wait, maybe I could get Angemon. Angemon could be a pretty solid pickup here, actually. Angemon is also one of the few Digimon in this game that has a special mechanic tied to it. Angemon is a Digimon where if it dies, like if you lose a fight with it and it loses a life, when you respawn back at Digimon's house, there's... I don't know what the exact percentage is. I want to say it's like 10 or 20%. I know that there is a percentage chance that it'll just go, hey, I'm evolving into Devimon now. And yeah, you can just get Devimon that way. And I always thought that was a cool little thing. Okay, I have plenty of sirloins left. That is good to have. Because honestly, I always want to have all of those available, and I don't have any hawk radishes left. Fantastic. Disclaimer, it's not actually fantastic, but still, hey. How we doing? So I'm gonna aim for 100 in all of my stats. I'm aiming for 1000 HP first. HP and speed are currently my priorities, but honestly, once I get to a certain point, I think I can probably leave offense for now. I feel like I can probably leave offense for now because I have a bazillion offense chips. Actually, I can quickly just go and double check to see how many of each chip I have. So let's make a quick little detour over to the item bank. And honestly, while I'm here, I might as well just pick up everything. Okay, let's see here. So let's pick up these, and that, and that, and that, and those. And I will need these at a later time. And I'll take those. So let's quickly just see what we have. Oh, perfect. I actually had a, whatchamacallit, a super carrot of her as well. Okay, so I'll be able to give 200 offense, 250 brains, 250 defense, 150 speed, 4500 health, and 2500 MP. Honestly, that's a bit less than I was expecting. Like, if I'm being totally honest, That's less than I was expecting to get. But hey, that's fine. I can work with this. Like, eventually I will, once I hit the champion phase, I will just evolve. Well, not evolve. Once I hit the champion phase, I will just throw everything onto those. Okay, so, does Patamon need to go to the back room yet? Not quite yet. Although I should definitely try to organize my stats now. Oh, that animation for Patamon is so cute. And it has Sonic Jab. Oh, also, while I was training Monzaemon, just passing the time, it learned a move called Dynamite Kick. I mean, oh, it also learned Counter. So, that's cool, I guess. Also, apparently it wouldn't let... That's an interesting thing. It wouldn't let me leave that screen with just Warcry enabled. Probably because it would mean I don't have a single offensive move available to me. And I don't have another Horseradish. So for now, I'm not going to use it. For now, I'll keep a hold of that Super Carrot. I'll keep a hold of the Super Carrot until I reach a point where I need it. Because the Super Carrot is for offense, MP, and brains. So I'll probably do that once I hit Champion phase. Because I'm not going on to Mount Infinity until I get an ultimate level Digimon. Having an ultimate level Digimon is probably going to be required. But honestly, with the sheer amount of stuff that I can just kind of throw directly on, like, with the amount of stat boosts that I can just throw directly onto my Digimon, and with all those chips, that won't be too much of a problem. I should, in theory, be able to kind of just shortcut my way through. Pretty much, I'll hit the champion phase, and then I should just kind of shortcut my way through. Also, I should... while I'm here, while I'm just kind of filling in time, I've been thinking about, like, games that are coming out in 2025 that I want to play. Like, I don't know when the release dates are for all of them. To be honest, by the time some of these episodes come out, some of these games might be out. So, obviously, I want to play Pokemon Legends ZA. I got Legends Arceus for Christmas, so I'm gonna play that before I play Legends ZA. Mostly because I like playing games in the order they were released most of the time. I periodically make exceptions, but usually I like playing games in the order that they were released. Especially if it's, like, numerically. Obviously, the new Yakuza, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Definitely looking forward to playing that. But as it stands, I am very far behind on playing the Yakuza games. So, context, I still haven't started Yakuza 5 as of the time of me recording this video. And so so my order for them will be like, I've done Kiwami 1 and 2, Remaster of 3, Remaster of 4, I'll do Remaster of 5, I'll do 6, 0, Ishin, 6, 0, Ishin, Gaiden, 7, 8, then Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Actually, no, I think Gaiden was after 7. Yeah, Gaiden was just last year. Maybe even Ishin was before. I don't know. Honestly, knowing my luck, by the time I get through half of these, it'll be like, hey, he has Yakuza, like, 12, and also he has Kiwami 3, 4, 5. I have no idea if those are going to ever be a thing. I've seen a lot of people really rallying for a Kiwami, which, to be fair, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a Yakuza Kiwami 3, mostly just because I feel like that game's combat kinda lets it down a bit. But I do really like Yakuza 3, otherwise. However, I do have one slight request. I'm gonna go with request because I'm not in a position to demand anything. But I have one main insistence in that, and that is, since there's arcades in, like, all the Yakuza games that you can go and play games in, and they have a whole bunch of, like, Sega arcade classics, I want, if they do make a Kiwami 3, I want fighting vipers to be playable. Now, there's a very specific reason for this, because the character Rikia is referred to as the fighting viper of Okinawa, and therefore, and you know, you're in Okinawa for a large part of that game, and therefore, I want fighting vipers to be playable, because I think that would be kind of fun. And also, RGG Studio seem like they would absolutely be all in on doing something like that, because RGG Studio are very fun sometimes. You know, that's just... I've got those. Use what else is there? So, the thing is, there's a whole bunch of games announced for 2025, and it's like, cool, most of these do not sound too interesting to me. I'm sure that, like, I made a little notepad document that's just like, hey, are these games I'll play? And the 100-line Last Defense Academy, like, that simultaneously seems like a great idea and a terrible idea for a game for me to keep up with. And by that, I mean, it's made by the Danganronpa people, which means I will no doubt go into it with high hopes, and it will, and I'm hoping that it doesn't disappoint me in the end. But look, if I buy that game, play that game, and then I get to the end and it's like, oh, it was Hope's Peak Academy, I'm going to lose it. Which actually, and also rambling on about this has also reminded me, I've had whatchamacallit, Project, what was it called? Like Master Detectives Archive Project Raincode or something? Something like that. Honestly, my main takeaway from that is, I think it's the main character. I've had that game sat on my shelf for like a year and haven't played it. My main takeaway from seeing the main character of that is they look like if you took Kirigiri from the first game, from the first Danganronpa game, took the protagonist of Persona 4, and the Fate version of the Count of Monte Cristo, and yes, the Danganronpa artist did do the Fate design for the Count of Monte Cristo, so that does actually make sense. They also did the design for, I think it's Cleopatra, so that does kind of make sense. But yeah, it kind of looks like they took Kirigiri and Narukami and kind of filtered them together, and kind of fused them together by means of that version of the Count of Monte Cristo. Honestly, kind of interesting. And then the last one I have noted down, because obviously, there will obviously be a whole bunch of games announced as the year goes on. No doubt Nintendo will drop some amazing stuff, because Nintendo tends to do that. And also, we haven't had a Direct in a good while. I'm hoping that we get one soon. But, I don't know, like, there's all the stuff with the Switch 2 and everything. And so, that'll happen at some point. And so, there's a couple that's just like, I don't want to have to buy a new Xbox. I don't want one, and I also don't really want to have to invest in Game Pass. But also, at the same time, I want to believe in that new Gears of War. But also, at the same time, I'm very split on it. I'm very split on it for one main reason. Because I've always been kind of 50-50 on Gears 1. Gears 2 and 3, I adore those games. But Gears 4 kind of killed a lot of my interest and enthusiasm for wanting to play more of that series. But I'm hoping that the new one, E-Day, because that one is now, because that will be a prequel set. I forget how long after E-Day the first game is. I want to say it's like 15 years, but I might be wrong on that. Either way, I'm hoping that that'll be really good, and will give me some faith back in it. But other than that, the only other game I have noted down as, hey, this is something I definitely want to play, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Mostly because the initial trailer for it looked really interesting, and it's like, okay, I'm in, I want to play this. because that game looks really interesting. Also, I'm saying this based on one trailer. I'm saying this based on one trailer that I watched like 6 months ago, but the general premise seems kind of interesting. And also, it seems like it's a turn-based RPG, and I just like me some turn-based RPGs. I say that, I still need to play Metaphor ReFantasio. Honestly, by the time this video comes out, I might have played it by then. I still need to play, whatchamacallit. I still need to play The Answer. I still haven't played Episode Igus and Persona 3 Reload. But that's also because I don't really want to have to buy the expansion pass. Like, I don't really want to have to buy, like, the full set of DLC, and I just want the last one. And also, look, I like The Answer. I think The Answer in FES is fantastic. But it does kind of drag on a bit. Also, I was gonna say I'm going to go for 100 brains here, but I guess we need to quickly make a little bit of a detour. I've also had the remake of Super Mario RPG. Yeah, I've had that sat on my shelf for about a year as well. I have so many games just sat on my shelf and haven't gotten around to playing them yet. It's a problem I'm fully aware of, but you know what? One of these days I will get around to playing all of these games, and you know what? When that happens, I'll probably have a great time. Either that or I will be bitterly disappointed by some of them. To be honest, there's a few games that there's a few games on my shelf that I am fully prepared to be bitterly disappointed by. And some of them, whatchamacallit, some of them, okay, they might just not be for me, but you know what? I'm still gonna play all of them. I still fully intend on, if it's on the shelf, I intend on playing it at some point. Even though I have a whole bunch of just garbage on the PS2. Like, I went through a phase where is on both the 360 and on the PS2, where I basically just bought any and every game I could. But it's just like, hey, this game that no one cares about, oh yeah, that's like £2, I'll just pick that up. And honestly, if nothing else, somewhat ironic, so, if nothing else, it gives me plenty of games to do potential episodes on of Does Anyone Remember on. But also, at the same time, that requires me to, you know, play them, and also, I also need to do a lot better about keeping on top of Does Anyone Remember. Because, honestly, I have a long list of games that I want to do on that show, and I just haven't gotten around to most of them, and I kind of feel bad about that. Okay, Patamon can have another nice little meal till we get past 100 brains, and Patamon will also want to go to sleep soon. I don't remember if I've talked to Digimon today, though. Not exactly a great sign when I don't remember this, which is something I did about 5 minutes ago. Oh, well, that was just perfect timing in that case. Well, you know what? That could have gone a lot worse. Actually, what is the weight looking like? Patamon is at 28 weight, okay. So I need to keep an eye on my Digimon's weight, because the weight is a requirement for certain evolutions. And, okay, I didn't have enough. But I have 1850. I have enough to just buy a whole bunch of meat. So I'll just go and do that, I think. In theory, I should just go to, Gear Savannah. I should go to Gear Savannah and just buy giant meat. But also, I think that's like 500 per. I think it's like 500 per. And I'd rather just get it done the other way. I'd rather just buy, like, regular meat at 50. I'd rather buy regular meat at 50 than giant meat at like 500, if that makes sense. Also, gonna be honest, I feel like maybe I've trained a bit too hard when it comes to some of my stats. But hey, hopefully we'll be okay. Now, I'll buy 2 porta potties, so I'll have 3, so I should have 3 ready to go into Mount Infinity, and I'll buy 25 pieces of meat. Will that be enough? Hopefully, but, will that be enough? I'm hoping it will be, but if it isn't, I might be going scrounging for some food. Either that, or I'm taking another trip to Friesland to, you know, do the money cycle again. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure that there's probably just a whole bunch of games waiting to be announced for 2025. Honestly, by the time this video comes out, some of them may be already out. I know earlier I mentioned, whatchamacallit, I have it written down, the 100-line Last Defense Academy. I think the release date for that is something like April, so that'll be out sooner rather than later. Okay, so Patamon is evolving. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we get a Unimon. Okay, so we got a cool horse. Your Honor, we now have a really cool horse. And, it can use Megalo Spark, fantastic. Right, it is finally time for me to continue training, because I still need to do training. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'll probably do like 1 more day of training. I think I'll probably do 1 more day of training until Unimon wants to go to sleep. And after that, I will probably call it an episode. I don't actually know how... I don't know... Actually, I can double check. Also, Unimon was a Digimon that I always thought looked really... Like, it looks so cool, it's just a cool unicorn. Actually... So, I don't actually know, like, the full deal on, like, how mythical creatures work. Like... So, a unicorn has the horn, and a Pegasus has the wings. Like, are those 2 things mutually exclusive? Like, is there a specific name if they have the horn and wings? Or are they still a Pegasus, or are they still a unicorn? Or are both terms interchangeable? Either way, I will say, the kind of like horseshoe noise that they have when it runs, it's a very nicely made sound. That probably sounded really goofy. Now that I say that out loud, that sounds weird. Anyway, how much stuff did I have? Because I had like 3,000 max HP here, so I'll be able to boost that up to like 7,500. Yeah, I'll have nearly 7,000 max HP, and I can boost up. I had a 200 for offense. Yeah, I need to train offense here. Offense needs to go up. Offense, I've been slacking. I've been slacking on offense, and that stat has to go up. That stat has to be higher. Like, that stat is going to be minimum 500. Honestly, I want minimum 500 on everything. But obviously that will require plenty of work on my part and on my Digimon's part. But you know what? We are gonna get there. We are gonna get there. We are gonna be powerful. We are going to take Mount Infinity in the next episode. But first things first, I need to, you know, grind my stats. No, that's a care mistake. Oh, I messed it up right at the end. Okay, you know what? It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It will be okay. That's not ideal for me. That's really not ideal. I'm not too happy about that. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna go back to training. So I can give a lot of stats to all of my Digimon, and that's what really matters. I think when it comes down to it, I'm gonna have something like 7,500 health. I think I need to do a bit more MP training. I think I need to give myself more MP, because I'll need that for my moves. Obviously, you always need MP for all of your moves, but still. But yeah, so as far as games that are coming out this year go, I'm hoping for some good stuff, but we'll see how things go over time, because, some games that you're looking forward to might not always land, some games that you aren't expecting might land amazingly well. Oh, but hey, that is something for the future to hold, and hopefully we'll get some great stuff going forward. I swear, if this happens again, I'm gonna be so I'm gonna be so annoyed if it happens again. Okay. Okay, 10 out of 10, it happened, it told me, it gave me time to react to it that time. So I will call that a win. I will call that a win right there. Okay, so now we can quickly have Unimon get to the bathroom in time, fantastic. And now I can save, now I can let it go, take a nap, and end off today's episode here. Okay, so, today we basically just did training, and now... Aww. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna save and end off today's episode here. Next time we'll be taking on Mount Infinity at long last. So I'm gonna end off today's episode here. As always, feel free to leave a comment or click any of the buttons down below if you feel so inclined. And I will hopefully see you all next time as I finally take on Mount Infinity. Okay, thanks for watching. Later. Okay, so I decided I was going to keep going just for a bit longer, because I finished off the episode, and then I decided, just to kind of see what would happen, I basically decided that I was going to go and just use all of the chips immediately, and I was still a little bit short on some of my stat requirements. Oh, yeah, right, I made myself broke. That's not exactly ideal. But yeah, pretty much, I was a little bit short on some of the stat requirements, even with the chips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit more grinding. Probably just like 5-10 minutes. It might be an in-game day or two. Either way, to be honest, 5-10 minutes to an in-game day or two is roughly about the same. I think that's roughly it. Either way, I know that I need to get the brains stat to be significantly higher than I have that. So, yeah, this could take a little while, but it's basically what I'm currently aiming for. I'm gonna go for a bonus try. Oh, okay, we got 2. No. But here's the thing. The bonus try, it's never worth it. The bonus try in this game is never worth it, because sometimes even when you're on the verge of winning it, the game will just go, no you don't. And it'll just skip, and you'll click it at the perfect time. You'll click it at the perfect time, and then the game will just skip over that reel, and you'll just to kind of go, no, you weren't gonna win. Genuinely, rigged. Straight up rigged slot. I mean, to be fair, I don't know... Okay, to be more accurate, I don't know if it's the game being rigged, or if it's just a bug. To be honest, knowing Digimon World, it could and probably is. It could be and more than likely is a bug. Because, man, this game has no shortage of those. This game has dozens of them. I mean, to be fair, I can't really complain. Okay, I can complain, but also at the same time, this game has so many kind of... And I feel like the kind of brokenness and also not... I feel like the kind of crypticness and brokenness of the game is almost part of the charm in a weird way. Okay, so we learned how to moderate. Fantastic. So I know... Wait, how many I have? Okay, so I can boost it by 250. We're still going to be here for a while, and even after that, I still need to boost all of the offense. And also, another part of the reason why I'm doing this now is because I looked into it, and no, I still need to pass another few in-game days. Okay, we learned Wind Curve, that's pretty good. But yeah, I passed another... Pretty much, after I finished recording the episode, and then I kind of just, did everything, and then made sure, just make sure that I was on the right track to get the Digimon that I wanted. The good news, I am on track to get it. The bad news, I have like 5 more in-game days or something before I get it, so I'm just going to use all of this time to basically just, get my stats up as high as I possibly can. I'm just going to get my stats as high as I possibly can, and then hopefully we'll be able to just blitz Mount Infinity in the next episode. Basically, if something on Mount Infinity puts up a fight, I'm going to be a bit disappointed. Like, my goal is victory. Decisive victory. Pretty much, my goal on Mount Infinity isn't just to win, it is to embarrass this game. Like, in a perfect world, I will pull up to the final boss and not even have to use a single item. I think that might be a little bit ambitious, but hey, you know what? Sometimes you have to shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you'll aim. What's the term? Shoot for the stars, if you miss, you'll land upon the clouds, or something like that. Either way, we are aiming for the stars with this. And yeah, that's the final goal. Honestly, maybe I'll get 900. Maybe I could max out the stat. I would actually be probably a good idea. Maxing out a stat is, well, obviously, it's the maximum a stat can go to. So realistically, having a stat maxed out wouldn't be a bad idea. To be honest, brains probably wouldn't be the #1 stat to pick for that. Like, if I was going to pick one, it should realistically probably be offense. And we learn spinning shot. Okay, we are getting moves. We are getting moves on moves. So we have wind cutter and spinning shot. Okay, hang on, wait. Spinning shot does so much damage. So I know kind of what fights I'm gonna have kind of ready for me on Mount Infinity. So pretty much, I'm gonna be shuffling around a moveset when I actually go up there a couple of times. Basically, I'm gonna have a moveset for individual one-on-one fights, and then for ones where I'm gonna have to fight a group of enemies. Fortunately, I don't think I ever have to fight more than 2 or 3 things at once, but I'm going in there as prepared as I possibly can. And because, yeah, it's the final area, and also, you know what? Beating this game legitimately has kind of been on the list of things I've wanted to do for years, but never managed. So this one feels like a personal one. Like, when I defeat this game, it's going to be personal. Because realistically, I've, again, never legitimately beat this game ever since I was a little kid. So, now that I'm going to be able to play through the game and reach the credits under my own skill and my own kind of ability at the game, yeah, it's a very satisfying feeling. Like, hey, yeah, like, I never finished this game when I was a kid, but now is the time. Now is the time. I'm going to get my win. I'm going to get my win, and it's gonna be great. Great for me, because over the last few years, I've kind of been aiming to go back through a whole bunch of games that I played when I was a kid and never finished. So, honestly, okay, I say over the last few years, this started even long before I started the channel. Because when I was a kid, I never finished Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. And then I finished it a few years ago, and, since then I've played through it twice on the channel. Because, as it turns out, yeah, I think I just like that game. Another one that I kind of want to do a series on here for it at some point, but it has a first game that I haven't actually played before. But I've finished Jade Cocoon 2. back in, I want to say, like 2015, 2016, and I haven't touched that game since. I'm really hoping that it's... that is one of those games where I am really hoping that it's as good as I remember it being, because if it isn't, I'm going to be sad. But hey, that is a game that at some point I would quite like to do a series on here, but no idea, no plans for when that'll be. It definitely won't be within this year, because I have so many RPGs planned for this year. Like, between this, like, Digimon World, so, obviously, a whole thing being recorded long before this goes up. I think I think Digimon World itself probably takes, like, what, 3 months? Both halves of Persona 2, I'm estimating that'll be collectively about 6. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff to be doing in terms of RPGs this year, and obviously I have more Pokemon to play and everything. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of stuff for me to have to, play through. So, and I'm looking forward to playing all these games, but man, it's going to be a lot. Like, I know it's going to be a lot of RPGs, which to be fair does have both its advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, it's a nice long series. It opens up plenty of kind of spare time, but also it's probably like people might be less engaged over time with it. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Okay, I say that, but like, I don't know. I'm just hoping that I manage to make at least some of these episodes where I just do grinding. Like, as long as, realistically, I just hope I manage to make at least one of these episodes where I do nothing but grinding to be somewhat engaging. Because, I'm gonna be honest, that's probably more than half of this game just grinding. And I know that it's probably a bit of a pain to have to watch, because trust me, it's a bit of a pain to have to play. I say play, realistically. Realistically, I'm just telling the Digimon, hey, go do this thing, and then it kicks the thing, and then I get to stop it, and then I tell it to start again. And unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of Digimon World. I feel like I've used that as an explanation for so many things in the series. Just like, well, that's just how Digimon World is. And under 99% of circumstances, I would say, well, that's a complete cop-out, but also, that's actually just how Digimon World is. Also, you know what? I am gonna put up just a little bit more HP. Because I have enough to give 4,500 HP. I will go until I have, like... Yeah, I'll get myself to, like, 8,000, I suppose. Like, 8,000, 8,500. Or maybe I just max it out. I could just max it out. No, I think offense and defense need a bit more focus than I've given them. Obviously, they'll get a whole bunch of boosts with all the chips, but for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'll finish off this in-game day, then I'll do one more, and then I'll stop up the episode, and then I'll see how things are from there. Because to be totally honest, I'm not 100% certain on how long it would still take in-game. Because obviously, when I evolve, once I digivolve to my final Digimon, then I know exactly where I'm at. I'll know exactly where I'm at, and we will be just blazing onto Mount Infinity from there. Okay, and also, Unimon is very tired, so let's quickly let him go see Centaurumon. The unicorn meets the centaur. Now that's an interesting one. Like, you don't really see... I don't think I've ever seen a unicorn and a centaur have an interaction in, like, any form of media now that I think about it. But hey, That's a kind of cool thing, isn't it? Okay, maybe cool is not the word. But hey, let's get rid of that tiredness. Also, I specifically want to avoid fights for now. But we are just about ready. And I think have I gone to Digimon today? I feel like half of the time I've spent grinding in this game. I feel like at least half of the time that I've spent grinding in this game has basically been me thinking, have I gone and picked up the food today? Like, have I gone and picked up, whatchamacallit? Oh, also, I'm gonna be totally honest, Monzaemon has been kind of flying around the entire game. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm relatively certain that Monzaemon is only supposed to be patrolling the city at night, and Ugamon is probably supposed to be doing it during the day. I don't think I've seen Ugamon since I got him to come to the city. Which is a little bit strange. Because I feel like basically everyone else has shown up or has a job. Okay, I say that. I know that Metal Monzaemon does not have a job. Metal Monzaemon comes to the city and just... Metal Monzaemon comes to the city and just sits in the curling rink and is like, no, you are going to play against me at curling because I want to compete against you. So, that's a weird, fun little thing for Metal Monzaemon, I suppose. Okay, so, I will do this. I will sleep. So, Unimon gets to have a little nap. And now, I'm going to go for one more day of training. We'll do one more day of training, then I'll end off the recording. And then I will start the next episode off by just giving it all of the chips, and then we'll be on our way. Because after this, you know, after the absolute onslaught of training filler, I suppose, because, you know, none of this has been sped up. This has all been, like, real time, in-game. This is how long it takes. Admittedly, some Digimon are a little bit faster at it than others. If I'd had super carrots and if I'd had more super carrots and more what are they called, hawk radishes, I probably would have gotten this done a bit faster. To be totally honest, I can probably afford. Honestly, I can probably afford to sell a couple of items. I could probably afford to sell a couple of items and get a couple more. But realistically, I'm probably not gonna see all that much of a difference. And I probably don't even need them. Realistically, I could probably take Unimon as it is. I could probably take Unimon as it is on Mount Infinity and probably win. Because, you know, I have really high stats and a mountain of healing items. But, yeah, I'm a little bit, kind of concerned on that. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I will go and I'll buy probably just one more. I'll probably buy one of each. I'll get one of each and then use that to focus more on one stat. And after that, I probably don't need them anymore. Honestly, if I could have had a Unimon earlier in the playthrough, I think that would have been real. If I ever come back and play through this game again, I think I'm gonna aim to get a Unimon. Mostly just because I always thought Unimon was really cool. Okay, so I basically just sell off 2 of the sirloins that I bought, and I'll buy 2, what do I want to get? Probably 2 super carrots and a hawk radish? Yeah, I'm gonna go 2 super carrots and a hawk radish. And after that, then after that, I'll do the rest of that training, finish off the day, hit save, end off the episode properly for now. End off the episode properly, and then next time we enter Mount Infinity. And that will be basically the grand finale of the main game. Oh, I have a maxed out inventory, really? Huh, so I do. Well, I didn't foresee this occurring. Okay, I guess I'll skip out on a hawk radish then and just buy a 3rd super carrot. And for my own convenience, we can sort by raising Digimon stuff. Fantastic, the super carrot is right there. And now, let's go do what should be my final day of training. And then, after this, I think I should be more than ready. I feel like if I went right now, I could probably handle it anyway, as I've already stated, but you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty confident right now. Also, I'm just gonna wait for Unimon to get hungry before I give it the super carrot. Horses like carrots, right? I think. The horses like carrots. Someone who knows stuff about horses, please tell me if the horses like carrots. Either way, we are nearly at 400 offense. Also, I'm starting to realize that maybe Unimon does not get hungry very often. I feel like usually my Digimon's gotten hungry by now. But I also know my luck. I know that the second I feed it a super carrot before it needs it, that'll be when it goes, oh, now I don't need it. Okay, so we give it some sirloin. Then we give it another steak. So we give it another steak, give it a super carrot, and now we just start, going for it on that offense stat. I think this will give me, like, an additional 2 off. Nope, that's a care mistake. That's an inconvenience. But I think I should still be okay. Because I think I'm allowed up to 3 or 4 care mistakes. Either way, I'm going to go to probably 500 offense, I think. I'll go to 500 offense, and then stop, I suppose. Okay, Unimon is getting tired. You know what, maybe I should go until I run out of super carrots. Okay, no, I should stop. I should stop because I know how I'm gonna approach this. I know that I know that I will inevitably end up causing myself a situation where it's like, oh, well, I just did this, and this. It's like, oh, just one more. I'll just do one more thing. And well, you know how that always goes. I feel like most people these days have played one game online and with some friends, and it's just like, okay, just one more, though. Just one more. Like, we can't end on a loss. One more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save, and I'm going to end off this episode properly. So, next time, I will probably do a tiny amount of training, and then we go to Mount Infinity. So for real this time, as always, feel free to leave a comment or click any of the buttons down below if you feel so inclined. And next time, for real, we take on Mount Infinity. Okay, thanks for watching. Later.